Between the Lines would like to thank Protection Strategies Incorporated for sponsoring tonight's program, one of our country's leading providers of integrated security services, including operational security, training, testing, and evaluation. Clients of PSI include the Department of Justice, the FBI, and the Department of Energy.
Brian Spitzer, for Circuit Court Judge, is also sponsoring tonight's program. Brian is a prosecutor and Army medic for 6 years and a lifetime Tennessean. A graduate of Vanderbilt Law School, Brian is dedicated to serving the citizens of Anderson County.
Judge Roger Miller is sponsoring tonight's program. Judge Miller is a lifetime resident of Anderson County. Judge Miller has adjudicated over 30,000 cases, both civil and criminal. Judge Miller is looking forward to continuing to serve Anderson County.
Welcome to another issue of Between the Lines. Tonight we're talking Secret City Festival, and we're talking about it's back. It's not in the summer, it's in the fall, and it's late in September. And we're good. Judi Gray's here to talk about it, and we're going to have fun. But first, we're going to talk about some common things that we've done. I mean, really, the show could be as much about her as the Secret City Festival. She's had this, you've had this dynamic career in Oak Ridge, helping people and doing stuff, and that's probably more newsworthy than all the other stuff we talk about day to day.
I sincerely doubt that.
We had a whole show on China and the threats to the United States, and one of the more interesting shows we've ever had, but cybersecurity and all of that stuff. So it's kind of interesting. But so the Secret City Festival is moved?
Only the time has moved, right.
Yeah.
So during COVID, we were all set up to go in June, first week in June, right after graduation. And come January, I'm sitting there on Zoom meetings with my committee, and I'm agonizing and annoying the heck out of everybody on my committee, because all I'm saying is I do not think this is a good idea. And they're saying, you promised to wait until March. And I went, I don't think we can. I don't like this. And so we finally voted to move it. And I'm really glad we did, even though things are not looking great right now. But I'm still glad we did, because I think we'll be outside, and I think people know better how to deal with it.
Sure.
And hopefully people will take care of themselves and be safe.
Well, hopefully people have enough information to make their own choices and decisions, and to protect themselves if they need to, and if they, and a lot of us are, had the vaccine. We're
I
ready,
think that helps also.
The symptoms are minimal, and you look at the statistics, but that's we had a COVID show 2 or 3 weeks ago, which was really interesting. I really didn't know that it didn't keep you from getting COVID, that it basically reduces symptoms. So that was interesting, and that's proven out. Tell me about yourself. Now, you come from New York. You grew up in New York City. I
do.
I love New York City. I was telling you that earlier. Yeah.
I know. I love it too.
It's changed.
But I've been here since I'm 23.
Wow.
I left New York at 19, moved. I'd never been on an airplane before, and flew, and I was just amazed seeing the Grand Canyon, because the pilot dipped down, and I had never seen anything like this, and moved to California. And
did you fly into San Francisco?
No, LA, which was always
South,
a madhouse, of course.
You wouldn't see San Francisco, you wouldn't see the Grand Canyon.
And after my husband graduated Caltech, there were no jobs, and finally we ended up here.
Wow. And you were here my senior year in high school, so I was right behind you.
You're really dating me.
6 years, that's 6 years, and that's good. What was growing up in New York like in the 60s?
Really, really great. I mean, it was wonderful. The schools were great quality. I remember being in high school there, and I was an art student, and there were 20 or 30 art classes to choose from. It was amazing. Everything from designing record covers. I still have these old things that I had done when I was a kid, just because I thought my granddaughter would think it's funny. And, so schools were wonderful. City had lots of money then. Mm-hmm. pensions were great because I know my mom had a great pension from the City University.
Yeah.
Thanks to Mayor Lindsay, who was
Mayor Lindsay was very popular.
Yes, he was, and I remember the women in the building where I was growing up really thought he was very handsome.
Yeah, he was very charismatic.
Absolutely.
Kind of the flower. Well, in the 20s. What was his name? I can't remember the New York City mayor.
The
flower.
LaGuardia.
LaGuardia. He was the
Yes.
same kind of charismatic guy, and then you had Lindsay, and then of course the Kochiers come behind that and everything. So one thing I remember about going to school in New York City was it just never slept. It was always very, I think Sinatra said that, but it was very, very, I tell people, buy a Simon and Garfunkel album, you'll get the whole story.
It's funny.
You know, they're New York City guys, you know, I mean, that was great.
When I was a kid there, we used to take the train into Manhattan. You would call it going to the city.
Right.
And I remember we never wore pants. I mean, all the girls wore dresses. Right. And I remember wearing gloves to go into Manhattan, which is to go to B. Altman's to buy Weegens, do you remember those? They were the old moccasins that you put a penny in the flap.
Oh, yeah, I remember seeing them.
Well, B. Altman's was special because they had it in navy blue. Other than that, the stores only had cordovan. Wow. And I always wanted to be different.
So you rode the train all the way just to shop for moccasins?
My mom would take me into Manhattan, and once a year I'd get new shoes.
That is pretty exciting, really.
It was.
How far up were you in Manhattan?
B. Altman was down on 34th Street and 5th Avenue
That's
on the corner.
That's right there at the Grand Central Station.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take the train right in.
It was a big deal when we were kids.
I worked on 14th down in Union Square when I was there for that semester. I went to school and everything. I lived in the Southern Bronx, but we took the one train. So I'd take the one train through Southern Bronx, Harlem, down through the Middle City, down to Midtown. It was an interesting ride. A good 30, 40-minute ride.
Yeah. I used to work down on 14th Street too.
I love 14th Street.
There was a women's college down there, and it was one of my summer jobs.
What is the name of that? What was the name of the school?
Mills, I think. It was on 5th Avenue and 14th Street.
Huh. So you go to California. You moved to California with your husband.
Pasadena.
Got married early, right?
Yeah, really early.
California was different then, too.
Totally.
I mean, it was wide open. It wasn't the build-out. I mean, it was incredible.
Yeah.
Wow. That was a long time ago.
It was really fun.
I don't miss being 20, but I miss the world that I lived in at 20. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was just I don't know. Social media kind of changed.
I don't know. I would take 35.
That was the best time?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, 35 was good.
Good.
That was good. The 30s were good for me. I was all done by 38. I came back to Oak Ridge, and I'd lived in Pittsburgh, Denver, Cleveland. I lived in Pittsburgh most of that time, 10 years, but I got back to Oak Ridge at 39 years old, and I said, I'm retired. This is enough. I found things to do the last 25 years.
Well, I'm so glad we ended up here. We had no idea.
It's a good town.
Yeah, it's been really a great way to spend a life, and to have my girls here and to have them in school here. It was a really nice way to raise a family.
And,
it was wonderful.
And it's a safe city. It's got, I always, when we worked in government, it's a contained city. You can control things because it's contained. You know, you go from one end of the turnback to the other. We got 2 ridges. We got 12 precincts, I think, politically, but 12, and it's just a great town. You know everybody on every side, whether it be Robertsville Road or out in Briarcliff, so it's really just nice.
Yeah, we've kind of run the gamut here. We first started living up on Waddell Circle in one of the K buildings.
Oh, sure. So
we had an apartment in that, and then a house came up for sale. Around the circle. So Waddell Circle, I think, was the old L's that had been for the naval officers. And we bought this one, and this was in such a wreck, you can't even imagine. We had the exterminator come. This woman was thrilled because she saw 20 or 30 kinds of roaches. It was so disgusting. I can't even begin to tell you. But it was pretty funny. But we remodeled this house. And I was in design school at the time, so to actually see the structure of how a building and a home was built, it was just like in my books. So I brought my class out and went, oh, look here, these are blocks.
And expanding on that, you studied in New York and basically made a career out of being an interior decorator.
Yes.
I don't know a single interior decorator, and I've been
Yes,
all
you
over the
do.
world.
You know Warren's wife, Judy.
Yeah, I do know Judy, and I didn't know that.
Judy's also a designer.
See, I'm
right.
out of the loop.
No.
That's not good.
Yeah, so...
They have an elegant
yeah.
home. That makes sense.
They do.
Yeah, that's
They
good.
do. So, and we're very different in styles. It's interesting.
There's different styles?
Totally.
Like a Southern style or a European style?
No, more of traditional, maybe Southern, I don't know. Judy's more traditional than I am. I'm probably more eclectic.
I'm more of a traditionalist, too. So I guess I get
it's
that.
what you grow up with and what you're exposed to, I think.
Yeah.
Just a matter of
That's
taste.
another good thing about the city is
Yeah.
that it's melting. You can find whatever you're looking for.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Go up 10 blocks, you'll be all right.
Yeah.
I used to eat at Oscars on 67th, and I'd come down, I'd do something else, and it was just great. And go down to the ball games on Madison Square Garden and just move around. So only there for 6-7 months, but I loved it. It was a great place to be.
Well, it was wonderful. I remember my parents took me to a Mets game, and it was the one that went
Everybody in Queens, for everybody doesn't know the geography.
That's
Queens
right.
is Mets country.
That's right.
Bronx is Yankee country, and everything in between is a coin flip. That's about it.
Yeah, and you remember the game that went 22 innings?
Yes.
I was there.
Did you stay all 22 innings?
I think that my parents did. I probably was half asleep through the final last innings of it.
That famous game.
Yeah,
The
it
Giant
was.
game, maybe. I can't remember.
I don't remember,
Yeah.
but I just know I was there.
But you were a child at the
Oh,
time.
yeah, I was
Yeah,
little.
was it?
But it was fun.
What was it like when the '69 Mets won the World Series? Was that pretty big? That must have been
I
exciting.
wouldn't tell you. That was the year I got married, and I
Went to
probably wasn't
California.
paying any attention.
Oh, it makes sense. It makes sense. But boy,
Yeah.
it sure turned New York upside down. It made movies about it and everything.
Yeah.
And never got back. Went to the series in '73. But that's good. That's great.
I know, but you should see the cost of a beer there now.
Oh, I travel.
It's
enough.
unbelievable.
I get it. I mean, it's just. But the world's pretty flush with money right now. So I mean,
guess.
the digital world changed everything. Everything's faster.
Oh,
you make
yeah.
more money. You
Yeah.
do more things. But
It seems like another world then.
it was. Yeah, I mean, I can remember Central Park. We talked about Central Park, just the vendors and the things and it was like when in high school you read. Now, I'm not from New York. I'm from Oak Ridge. But when you're reading about all this thing and to finally get up there and spend time it was like being in a movie. It was great.
You know what I remember that I loved? Were the huge pretzels in the subway after a day's work for 7 cents, and it was three for 20 cents, I think, something like that, and they were huge.
Another
And
free
it was
for
so
$20.
wonderful. Whatever. But that and the hot in the winter chestnuts roasting.
Wow.
Which were great. I love that.
That's a good smell. That is.
Yeah,
Look,
it
we're going
was
to take a
really
short
nice.
break, and then we'll come back and we'll get started on the community's business
Sure.
and not just enjoying our memories. So that'll be good. Be right back with Between the Lines.
Ryan Spitzer has been a prosecutor in Anderson County since 2007, prosecuting more than 2,500 cases over the past decade. Ryan has been the Drug Task Force prosecutor for the past 7 years. Ryan donates time working with local nonprofits. A veteran, Ryan spent 6 years serving his country as an Army medic in the National Guard. Ryan is a family man who works hard every day to keep Anderson County families safe. Experience matters.
Hello, I'm District Attorney General Dave Clark. My fellow DAs and I successfully fought for new elder abuse laws and procedures that have police departments and agencies using improved tools to protect our seniors. Victims of elder abuse are often unable to recognize or report abuse themselves. They need your voice. If you suspect abuse, contact local law enforcement or adult protective services. Let's work together to protect our seniors.
Hi, I'm Paige Taylor, head coach of the girls basketball team at Oak Ridge High School. We are traveling to Phoenix this year to play before Christmas and are needing to do some fundraising. And in September, we're going to have an auction here.
We're going to have it on Monday, September 20th at 7 p.m. We'll have hundreds of items to auction. Should be one of our biggest ever, so please tune in to Channel 12 or watch us streaming on Facebook Monday, September 20th, 7 p.m.
Cash in your gold now to get the most money. With gold at all-time highs, TK Wheeler Jewelers in Oak Ridge is paying top dollar for your gold, silver, platinum, diamonds, and coins. And TK Wheeler Jewelers pays cash. Broken chains, mismatched earrings, bracelets, rings, old school rings, gold charms, old watches, and even coin collections. TK Wheeler Jewelers in Oak Ridge, where you get the most money now for your old gold. So cash in now at TK Wheeler Jewelers, 422 South Illinois Avenue in Oak Ridge.
Roger Miller is a conservative and lifetime resident of Anderson County who has served as Sessions Judge since 2014. Judge Miller has adjudicated more than 30,000 cases, both civil and criminal, over the past 7 years. Roger is a graduate of Clinton High School, and he volunteers time coaching youth sports and serving as an instructor. A paramedic for 12 years, Roger worked saving lives at the Anderson County EMS, MedFlight 5, and Methodist Medical Center. In 2022, let's re-elect Roger Miller, General Sessions Judge.
Between the Lines would like to thank Protection Strategies Incorporated for sponsoring tonight's program, one of our country's leading providers of integrated security services, including operational security, training, testing, and evaluation. Clients of PSI include the Department of Justice, the FBI, and the Department of Energy.
Welcome back to Between the Lines. We're talking with Judi Gray about all things Secret City Festival and our history, and we're going to talk a little bit about nonprofits too. So you've got into nonprofits on multiple different levels. Who have you worked with in Oak Ridge and served?
Mostly, I've loved having Rotary as an umbrella because they have funding. And you have a huge amount of people who are involved with wanting to do good things in the community. So when one of my clients asked me if I wanted to be a member, I said, absolutely, because I think I was maybe 60 at the time. And I figured, well, what am I going to do after I finish working? And that's what I wanted to do. So that's been one way to do it. And through that, I've worked on Lunch for Literacy, and not through them, I've done free medical clinic, working with the fundraiser in August, and then Secret City, of course. I started with that about 6 years ago when Kelly Callison said to me, "You're always complaining about things, get on this committee." And they wanted...
I can see Kelly saying that too.
Yeah, he did.
Great guy.
And so anyway, I got on this committee where the city was trying to decide what to do with the festival. And it was interesting. And, we decided, yes, we could try to do a 501c3, which is what happened. I've also done, this past year with COVID, one of my friends was making masks, and I said, I need one of these. And she said, well, I'm just doing them a few for one of the nursing homes. And I said, well, is there enough for other people? And she said, I don't know. And so I went, listen, why don't we try to get a group together? She says, I don't want to do that. I just want to sew. And I said, I like to organize. So I had a group of about 100 people involved in Sew Good Masks. We made 8,800 masks, wow, maybe more. Then, and in the process of all of that, Elaine Bunick from Lunchtime Rotary got involved. I know Dr. Bunick, sure. Yeah, she and I have worked together over and over. And she started pulling together these huge tubs of PPE equipment, sure, and what was necessary. These all got handed out to lots of the nonprofits in town, all over the place.
Great.
So I did the organizing, and it was down to a science. It was wonderful. The people who did this were amazing. Some of the people said, I can't sew, and they would cut fabric. Other people would say, sure, I'll sew it, and other people would cut pieces of elastic, and it would all come into these tubs down by my mailbox. Really, and this was going on for 9 months or so. Wow. And it was just a lot of fun to do this. It was really great. Kept me sane. I felt like I was doing something.
A lot of people had some collateral issues, that's for sure.
Well, it's hard to feel like you don't have anything to do for 9 months when you're used to being active.
On the go, sure.
And this made me feel like, okay, I'm helping people. And so I would I would call all the nonprofits and say, how many do you need? Right. And then I would deliver it.
What were the masks made of? What were the masks?
So they were generally quilting quality cotton, okay, which is a very tight weave.
Okay.
So that air doesn't get through, and then it would be and it would be multi-layer, and the loops would get attached.
Wow.
And then you could just hand wash it, and
Isn't
it
that
would be
great?
fine. It
That's
did very
great.
well.
You could
Some
use
of
it.
them you could put in further filters if you wanted to, and that kind of thing.
And the materials came from?
People donated everything.
I got it.
You can't imagine. All of this came out of the woodwork.
Wow.
It was so wonderful. It was such a group effort. And I would send out these crazy newsletters inspiring everybody, keep on, we
Good.
need here and we need there. And it was really an interesting thing to do for a while. It was
That's
fun.
fantastic. So,
I
but
was
you
glad
got
to
on the
do it.
Secret City board at that point.
I did.
You-
So
and
I
you
was
became
involved
the
with
chair.
that anyway.
How long have you been involved?
6 years since the time Kelly recommended I go on that
So
council.
you've been the chairman for that?
No,
Okay,
no,
you've
we
been on the
switch
board.
out every year, but I've
I
been on the
gotcha.
board. So right now I'm the oldest, literally and figuratively, the oldest member on the committee.
Well, my close friend Charlie Ergen and I got 10,000 from him a few years ago. And we tried to break the world record in the Secret City Festival. Remember in basketball?
Yeah, I remember that one.
That was my one participation in the.
Well, I
but
was
we
sorry
always go.
that one didn't do well enough.
Well, we had
you know.
90-something degrees. And
It was
a little
hot.
rough, and it wasn't
I know.
promoted. We had 300-something. We did what we could do.
Yeah.
But we appreciate Charlie participating and
Right.
being from here. So you rotate. You're the chair. We don't have an event last year because of the reasons that
Right.
you clarified.
It's all
Now we
COVID.
have one, but we're not in July. We're in September.
September 24th and 25th.
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know. I probably talked. We had a county fair, huge record crowds.
That's what I heard.
And we look, and I talk to people, and I say, what do you think about the Secret City vendors and people? And they'll say, are they having one? I just don't know that the people know what's going on.
All I know is it's getting a lot of radio play.
Okay.
There's been several articles both in the Sentinel as well as the Oak Ridger. Naomi Asher's in charge of marketing, and she does a bang-up job. And
She's on, somebody told me today she was on her way to New York. So everybody's in New York.
yes, that's right.
That's right.
She
yeah.
went for the weekend.
Yeah.
And, everybody does their part on this one.
Okay.
But you have to know that this entire committee is all volunteers.
It's out of the norm, I think. I think people just don't, football starts, and one thing you learn here, unlike New York,
Yeah.
when football starts, the world stops.
I
And,
have never understood that, but yeah,
I mean,
being a New Yorker, right?
It's a different game up there.
Yeah.
You get baseball, different
Right.
things, but and basketball. But the bottom line is that I think we need to get the word out.
I think so too.
We got to work it hard. We got
That's
6 weeks. I mean, we got to get the word out. 7 weeks. We got to get it out. And
Mm-hmm.
I just think the people need to know what can they expect this year.
So this year is a little bit different, just even in format, because
good. Let's hear
normally
that.
during the summertime in June, it occurs right after graduation, and
Correct.
it's 2 full days, and that's the end of it.
Okay.
Moving it into September, school's in. So we
Well, that's
realized that this shakes up that Friday in terms of hours. So we're starting later in the day, although we're starting earlier for some part of it, which is a veterans event. One of the things we've always enjoyed doing is having a veterans event and honoring the veterans.
Sure.
And so the Oak Ridge Philharmonia Orchestra will be performing. It's free and open to the public.
Is that Miss Lindsay's band? I don't remember.
not sure
Somebody's
that- I
charged
don't know
public
that
relations
name.
had called me about doing some PR, but I don't remember.
I
helping
don't
out.
know. Cindy
getting the word
Jeffers.
out. I don't
Cindy Jeffers is involved
Maybe
with this
I know
one.
Cindy. Maybe.
Okay, so I'm not sure.
But they're going to be coordinated with you on this.
Yes, they'll be performing for about an hour. It's open to the public, and then after that, we'll be feeding the veterans. And at 4 o'clock, we will have the official opening. The chamber is hosting an after-hours event.
Good time for the kids
there.
to clear.
Get the kids out of school, get them home safely, and then we're hoping that people will come to that and stay. We've got all these great individual food vendors. We have tried to stay with smaller mom and pop food vendors who bring interesting food.
Sure.
That's a little bit different. We wanted just not
Sure.
entertainment food. I'm not sure. I've
A
lost
little
the
more
word.
Little Italy flavor.
Yes.
Get a few variances in there.
So anyway, we've got that. So there's food there all evening, and then we have got Jimmy Allen performing.
I don't know Jimmy Allen.
So Jimmy Allen's very exciting. He's a relative newcomer, although like all newcomers who perform, he's probably been doing it for quite a while before he got discovered. Right. But he won the CMA top new performer for country pop.
Okay.
And he sang to Garth Brooks at the Kennedy Center Honors.
Okay.
And I listened to it, and it's just lovely. It's really nice.
We have a big venue for country music here in
We do.
Tennessee, so we should get a good crowd.
Well,
there's usually two acts, one
there
night,
are,
one the
and
other.
I don't think we've signed a contract on the first one yet.
Yeah, okay, so Jimmy's
I
the
can't say.
big name for second night.
That's correct.
All right.
And so we have that going on. So it's great. So one of the nice things is if you buy tickets for both nights, and the second night is All for One, who won Grammys for, you know that song, I Swear, It's a Love Song?
No.
And I am not singing any bars of anything for you.
We got 2 minutes till the break. You can go ahead and sing a little bit for us. Go ahead.
So anyway, they're performing on Saturday night, and they should be great.
They're going to be kind of a lead-in for Jimmy?
No, they're Saturday night. They are the lead on Saturday night.
Okay.
I don't remember who the opener for Jimmy is.
Jimmy's on Friday.
Jimmy is on Friday night.
Okay.
All for One is on Saturday night. And I'm sorry, I don't remember who the opener for them is.
But we have names.
It's all on the website, Secret City Festival, Facebook. So after the concert on Saturday night, there will also be fireworks.
Okay.
Which will be fun. And nice way to end the weekend. Which will not quite end then. So anyway, during the day on Saturday is the busy part of the festival.
The vendors.
The vendors will be there. The art center will be there in the gym selling juried work. All the building this year will be utilized a lot. In addition to the big concerts in the evening, which people pay for, all day long, nothing is charged for. You have to know that everything is free. We want people from the community to come. Right. Come, bring your kids. There are children's events, there are blow-ups and bounce houses and foam pits and water slides. If
Petting
the weather's,
zoos, right?
Petting zoo,
Thank
you.
There's your dates, yeah.
Those are my dates.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a very busy day. Also, one of the other things that's interesting is that we actually are having a quiet sensory sort of quiet area inside the building because there are kids who have difficulties with large crowds.
Sure.
So there'll be an area for children with special needs.
That's good.
I think so too. I think it's really a nice way to do this. And then a place to just say calm inside. So people, can come from all walks of life and know that their children will be safe and comfortable. There are some interesting things. I don't even know where to start. The library will be having speakers all through the day honoring the 85 who integrated the high school.
Okay.
And it's a big celebration here in Oak Ridge this year, and it happens in the fall. And so there'll be speakers there. We're also building a hutment on site. And a hutment is one of the buildings that were made as a residence for the black workers in town. And it's going to be furnished. Ray Garrett here in town is furnishing it. And after the festival...
Let me interrupt you. I'm sorry. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back. And Judi's going to get into more specifics about what we're going to do at the Secret City Festival. Thank you.
Ryan Spitzer has been a prosecutor in Anderson County since 2007, prosecuting more than 2,500 cases over the past decade. Ryan has been the Drug Task Force prosecutor for the past 7 years. Ryan donates time working with local nonprofits. A veteran, Ryan spent 6 years serving his country as an Army medic in the National Guard. Ryan is a family man who works hard every day to keep Anderson County families safe. Experience matters.
Hello, I'm District Attorney General Dave Clark. My fellow DAs and I successfully fought for new elder abuse laws and procedures that have police departments and agencies using improved tools to protect our seniors. Victims of elder abuse are often unable to recognize or report abuse themselves. They need your voice. If you suspect abuse, contact local law enforcement or adult protective services. Let's work together to protect our seniors.
Hi, I'm Paige Taylor, head coach of the girls basketball team at Oak Ridge High School. We are traveling to Phoenix this year to play before Christmas and are needing to do some fundraising. And in September, we're going to have an auction here.
We're going to have it on Monday, September 20th at 7 p.m. We'll have hundreds of items to auction. Should be one of our biggest ever, so please tune in to Channel 12 or watch us streaming on Facebook Monday, September 20th, 7 p.m.
Roger Miller is a conservative and lifetime resident of Anderson County who has served as Sessions Judge since 2014. Judge Miller has adjudicated more than 30,000 cases, both civil and criminal, over the past 7 years. Roger is a graduate of Clinton High School, and he volunteers time coaching youth sports and serving as an instructor. A paramedic for 12 years, Roger worked saving lives at the Anderson County EMS, MedFlight 5, and Methodist Medical Center. In 2022, let's re-elect Roger Miller, General Sessions Judge.
Between the Lines would like to thank Protection Strategies Incorporated for sponsoring tonight's program, one of our country's leading providers of integrated security services, including operational security, training, testing, and evaluation. Clients of PSI include the Department of Justice, the FBI, and the Department of Energy.
Welcome back to Between the Lines. We're talking to Judi Gray about Secret City Festival. Coming up the last weekend in September, going to be a lot to do, and the weather is going to be great. It's not going to be 95 degrees. Tell me a little bit about senior citizens and what they can expect at the event. Why would I come out of my house at 75 years old, go down and spend a day there?
To get cultured.
They're already
Why
cultured.
not?
They're more cultured than I.
There's always
Okay.
more.
All right, there is always more.
So we've got, as I had said before, the Art Center has the Juried Art Show.
Okay, that's
What's
true.
really also interesting is, as I had said, the library will be hosting lectures that are given that'll talk about a lot of the history of Oak Ridge. And it'll be announced during the festival outside so people can actually hear it, which previously had been a problem. And we're also doing some short talks over by the Peace Bell, talking about how the new Peace Bell came into its new structure, and about the art of Japanese raking and the design of the bell and a bit of the history. So we've got people talking just for short periods of time, about 15 minutes, about every half an hour during the afternoon. I think there'll be people talking about the hut mint also, which I mentioned, and that hut mint will then be...
The hut mint gives us a kind of a
historical
understanding and
perspective,
idea
right.
of how African Americans lived.
Right.
Okay.
And that will go over to the Children's Museum to be permanently after the festival.
Okay.
There's also an entire technology village, so that we don't want to focus just on the old history of Oak Ridge. The history is just being formed here.
That's true.
There's so much that's going on, and so it's looking towards the future. So many of the companies that are in Oak Ridge will bring equipment and different exhibits and help people to be able to see in a not too complicated form, at least I hope not for me, what is going on and where is this city going to and what are we working on. And because so much of what we do here reaches out into the entire world. So I think that's going to be very interesting. So there'll be people talking to the children there and displaying things, and also for the adults. Does that help if you're older?
That was good, yeah. I mean, I'm old. That's good. I always like orange.
Oh, I forgot one more thing.
What's that? Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I
No,
forgot.
you sure show.
So,
It's your show. I'm here to help.
over at the pavilion,
Right.
all day long, there will be acts. There's Danny Whitson, who's been in charge of our performers and who has really killed himself getting in great people, have comedians and contortionists and dancers and rap groups, and not just rap, please, but all kinds of different acts that are there, and it's free all day long. come and sit. There's going to be chairs there. You can sit and get comfortable, bring a hot dog or whatever, and sit there and eat your lunch. But the acts are really tremendous. And then inside, if you start to get hot, we've got comedians all in the afternoon, running all afternoon in the Civic Center.
The pavilion, what will happen Friday after 4 o'clock opening outside of any reenactments? Or
No reenactment this year.
I probably used the wrong word.
Yes. Sorry.
I always feel like okay. So
after the opening ceremonies,
yes.
The gates to the staged area where the concert will be Friday night
Right.
will open at 6 o'clock.
Oh, that's right.
But
Okay.
before that, the food trucks are all there.
But the vendors will be set up Friday night.
I believe so, yes.
Now we're going to get into a controversial issue. You
Are
ready?
we?
Yes, I have 2 controversial questions. Here's what I've
You
heard
didn't
over the.
warn me that.
That's okay. I had to catch you
Yeah.
off guard. You're smarter than me, so I have to have a little advantage in being surprised. Because 80 to 90% of everything I heard is great. I think City does a wonderful job, and you guys do a wonderful job. Vendor exclusion is my topic. Churches, political candidates, in the past, you have shut them down.
We actually
And there's
have.
yeah,
That's not true.
And I'm telling you, in the community, people have said, "Why can't we go down there and exhibit? Why are they excluding us?" And I said, "Well, that's their right. They're a private organization, blah blah blah." But maybe they're misled. Maybe I just want you. I'm here to give you a chance to explain
Okay.
it to us.
So first of all, I know that we have several Republican candidates who are setting up because we do have an
So you're
interim.
allowing that?
Yeah,
Okay.
as far
In the
as I
past?
know, as long as I've been involved, we have
Okay.
had that.
Okay, that's good to know.
So that's the only answer I can give on that one.
That's
But
good.
yes, there will be booths in the courtyard between the library and the Civic Center. There'll be hopefully
the long row, right?
hopefully the Democratic Party as well as the Republican Party.
Well, you would
will
hope
be
you
there.
get both sides of the expression.
That's the way it
Well,
should be.
at least, being from that line of work, at least the 2 parties themselves should have some representation of people, right?
There were some others you asked me about.
What about churches?
Oh,
If I'm from a Baptist church here in Oak Ridge, I want to come down and serve
I
water
think
or
that-
hand out.
first of all, the big Baptist church here in town, which I think is First Baptist.
Oh, there's a bunch.
Central, whatever it is. They are wonderful, and they do games with the kids
That's
and
right.
have for years.
Sell pumpkins
This is
on the-
not
yeah.
anything new.
That's right.
They're in the children's area. On Sunday, we have an entire interfaith day.
Okay.
And all the different religions in town have been approached. People are performing. We're doing this a lot in conjunction with the periodic tables with David Allred from the High Grove and
Yeah, I know
Grove
Dave.
Center.
High Places, yeah.
And High Places,
I
is
think
it?
that's what it's called.
And-
In Grove Center, though, you're
Okay.
right.
And the periodic tables were people who did not know each other coming together and having dinner together and talking and getting to know each other on the idea that if people know each other and learn to understand each other,
Right.
they will accept each other in a politer,
It's
more
a
polite,
solid
softer-
sociological accepted
yes.
thing. Yeah. I think so.
Anyway, my understanding is that there is a group from California that started this,
Yes.
and I believe that they're actually coming to film this.
I get the participation in the event on Sunday and other things.
Uh-huh.
But if you want to buy a 10 by 10 square for $250, I believe that's the price.
Not for a nonprofit, it's only 50.
It's only 50 for
Yeah.
a nonprofit, which
Right.
most churches. So they
Sure.
can come down and get a booth.
I know
and-
that the Jewish congregation's done it for the last 3 years.
Good. A booth, not a separate issue.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
No, it's no big
Okay.
deal.
Well, then you straightened it out.
Yeah.
Once again, you had control of the conversation.
Wasn't
So
that
if-
controversial, was it?
Not this time.
Oh,
But if
okay.
you want to go down and you want to set up and you have a church or any kind of nonprofit, this is a great place to go and meet people.
We have all kinds of nonprofits. What we do is we're able to accommodate maybe about 125 booths.
Yeah.
We need to make money. Nonprofits also need to make money.
Right.
So we kind of are holding the nonprofit booths to about 25, 30 out of that. And then out of the remainder, we try to do 2/3 arts and crafts of one form or another,
Right.
and then a third commercial. Obviously, we make the most on a commercial
Sure.
space, And we tried to make it very affordable for these smaller arts and crafts vendors.
We have, traditionally, we come out of the library door and there's booths all around the plaza.
Right.
Then you turn left towards the parking lot and there's booths down that row, all the way down the parking lot, and then you walk around the path and you come back. And so you have really a loop to see the booth, right? I mean, there's booths all the way up and down. Then if you want to go towards the high school, there's booths over here on the concrete too. Has that changed?
Probably. You kind of lost me with your scratching there.
Art was not my
Well,
thing.
one of the things that we found was a problem in 2019 was that it rained like the dickens that weekend. And we had vendors, we had decided, I have to backtrack slightly, because we had decided through feedback with vendors that sitting on the tarmac for 2 days in 95-degree heat was unbearable for them. So we tried to find a better place to put the vendors. And the whole West Field down near ORHPA, we started weaving the booths in and around that field.
That's true, you did.
This is just lovely until it pours. And you can, and it just was non-functioning. It was impossible to deal with.
It hasn't
so
been
we
90
don't
in September,
do that.
late September, in a long time.
Let's hope
But
that
the rain's
it
possible,
stays
right?
that. Who knows? Yeah. But we no longer will be doing that. So they are being worked all around the senior center and all around the courtyard.
We have not had a Secret City Festival since the senior center's been built.
That's correct.
I forgot that.
It was in construction.
That took some space for your booths and vendors and stuff.
It did. It was in construction when we did that. Yeah. So I think it's going to work out fine, but it does make it a lot easier for people to walk. They're not traversing pebbly paths that they have to walk to. This isn't a problem for you and I, but for people who are elderly, not us, of course.
Yeah.
To get down to that West Field, it was very difficult. We found we were driving people on golf carts.
Sure.
We're not doing that any longer.
We're not driving people on golf carts?
No, because they don't have to be driven. The footprint is a lot smaller.
Okay.
So it's a lot easier for people to get to see things and still have firm footing, which is nice.
So we lost James Cox, unfortunately, to an illness this past year, who runs the Ponderosa Zoo. His sons are bringing the animals back?
They are.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Great family. Super
yes,
people.
I'm delighted.
Yeah, that's a big thing for kids.
Yeah, it is. It's really wonderful.
And people, and the park's only 9 miles, and their zoo's only 9 miles.
I know.
Have you ever been through it? It's wonderful for this area.
It is.
And Oak Ridge children, a lot of, especially disadvantaged others, don't have an opportunity that often to get out there. And
that's right.
It's going to be a real.
So the petting zoo is free. The only thing that they're going to charge for the pony rides
and the feed,
and the feed for the animals.
Yeah.
And we thought that was very fair. So. But they've made it work for us also. So one of the things that I would like to let people know out there that we need volunteers. Mm-hmm. There will be a portion of the Secret City Festival site will have a sign up for volunteers in a few weeks.
When we get back from break, I want to talk about what those volunteers will be doing.
Sure.
And we'll ask a few other questions. We'll talk about parking, emergency services, and a few other things that we need to ask. Mask requirements, if there are any, eventually we'll figure it out. Okay, we'll be back.
Ryan Spitzer has been a prosecutor in Anderson County since 2007, prosecuting more than 2,500 cases over the past decade. Ryan has been the Drug Task Force prosecutor for the past 7 years. Ryan donates time working with local nonprofits. A veteran, Ryan spent 6 years serving his country as an Army medic in the National Guard. Ryan is a family man who works hard every day to keep Anderson County families safe. Experience matters.
Hello, I'm District Attorney General Dave Clark. My fellow DAs and I successfully fought for new elder abuse laws and procedures that have police departments and agencies using improved tools to protect our seniors. Victims of elder abuse are often unable to recognize or report abuse themselves. They need your voice. If you suspect abuse, contact local law enforcement or adult protective services. Let's work together to protect our seniors.
Hi, I'm Paige Taylor, head coach of the girls basketball team at Oak Ridge High School. We are traveling to Phoenix this year to play before Christmas and are needing to do some fundraising. And in September, we're going to have an auction here.
We're going to have it on Monday, September 20th at 7 p.m. We'll have hundreds of items to auction. Should be one of our biggest ever, so please tune in to Channel 12 or watch us streaming on Facebook Monday, September 20th, 7 p.m.
Cash in your gold now to get the most money. With gold at all-time highs, TK Willard Jewelers in Oak Ridge is paying top dollar for your gold, silver, platinum, diamonds, and coins. And TK Willard Jewelers pays cash. Broken chains, mismatched earrings, bracelets, rings, old school rings, gold charms, old watches, and even coin collections. TK Willard Jewelers in Oak Ridge, where you get the most money now for your old gold. So cash in now at TK Willard Jewelers, 422 South Illinois Avenue in Oak Ridge.
Roger Miller is a conservative and lifetime resident of Anderson County who has served as Sessions Judge since 2014. Judge Miller has adjudicated more than 30,000 cases, both civil and criminal, over the past 7 years. Roger is a graduate of Clinton High School, and he volunteers time coaching youth sports and serving as an instructor. A paramedic for 12 years, Roger worked saving lives at the Anderson County EMS, MedFlight 5, and Methodist Medical Center. In 2022, let's re-elect Roger Miller, General Sessions Judge.
Between the Lines would like to thank Protection Strategies Incorporated for sponsoring tonight's program, one of our country's leading providers of integrated security services, including operational security, training, testing, and evaluation. Clients of PSI include the Department of Justice, the FBI, and the Department of Energy.
Welcome back to Between the Lines. We're not in Queens, but it feels like it. We're wrapping up 12 minutes to talk about a few things. Parking, same as last year over in the Wilson Street area above.
Yes,
and then
there'll be
at the high school across the street.
The high school is actually being done as a fundraiser for the student council, who will charge $5, which we all pay when we go anywhere. I think it's great.
Very smart.
They're doing that on one of the nights, and then ROTC is doing the same thing on the following day.
Because it'll be full.
Yes, and I think it's a great way for them, the kids, to raise money. It's super.
How many people will come to the Secret City Festival in a normal year? Actually set foot on the ground.
Should I tell you that I'm not exactly sure?
Well, just guess.
I would guess between maybe 8,000 and 10,000.
Yeah, I'd say a minimum.
That's what I'm guessing.
Yeah.
We are going to try to count this year.
Kids drive numbers. If you got young people events,
Sure.
they're going to get there,
Yeah.
right? And that's it. And
Well, one of the
Bill
things that
Chris
we're
is-
trying to do is bring in tourists also.
Yes.
I mean, Explore Oak Ridge is also working with us.
Yes.
And
Who was the head of Explore Oak Ridge? What's her name? I'm sorry, I can't remember it. Very well
do
thought
that to
of.
me.
Very well thought of.
Don't ask me.
I could
lost
look it up, but that would be.
I'm sorry.
It doesn't matter.
I have lost it. But that's
Well,
one
that's
of
not
the
on the
reasons
agenda,
that
yes.
we're offering a discount for buying 2 nights
Right.
to the concerts, so that people will come and stay in our hotels.
Right.
Find out that the community is a cool place to be.
Right.
You know, we want people from outside of here to recognize what a great place we live in, and maybe they'll consider moving here. So I'm
Yeah,
not
I
sure
can't
right
imagine.
this week
We
where
talked
they
about this
would
before, but
be put,
contained
but
community, safe community, top-notch schools.
Yeah.
It's hard. Well, tell me a little bit about, we'll have emergency services for everybody that's
Right.
concerned, ambulances.
right.
So we get
EMTs will be there.
we get to the ugliest, most controversial subject, which is
Yes.
masks and COVID. As of now,
Yeah.
we have no restrictions.
As of now, we have no restrictions.
And if it changes, it would
Who
more than likely
knows?
be indoors, right? I mean,
Generally speaking, I hope that people will use common sense
Right.
and not let divisiveness get into this,
No.
truthfully.
no.
I would like to see them, people protect themselves.
Yes.
I've got a 6-year-old granddaughter who thinks it's no big deal and hers is as cute as all get out. She wears it all the time, goes to the playground, thinks nothing of it. So I think that people need to take care of themselves. I don't want to see people get sick.
I'm probably your ultimate middle of the roader on this issue. I really am. And I think, I would argue, in my opinion, doesn't count, but masks in schools to me is ridiculous. They're kids.
That's another story.
The flip side of it is not wearing masks around in a senior center is crazy. You need to put your mask on. So, I mean, there's a balance, to things. But I guess my point would be that people are getting out. We have record crowds at fairs, record crowds at big events, record crowd. Everybody wants to get out and get back to normal. So I would hope we would leave that
So
open.
I think that since we do have events inside,
Right.
I would hope that people, especially if you've got 150 people sitting in a room and you've not had a vaccine, take care of yourself. Put a mask on.
Yeah, I feel fine with the vaccine. I've had a vaccine.
Yeah.
Most people have.
But outdoors, I don't seem to have a big problem with it. I want people to come and enjoy themselves and have a good time. And I would like to talk a little about our sponsors.
Please do that. Please take that time.
First of all, thank the city. I cannot tell you how it is impossible to do this project without support from the city, both financially and in terms of their time.
And didn't they originally run it and then it got transferred over to private management?
They did.
That's right.
And I understand how they said it took a year's worth of work, because it does.
Yeah.
I would tell you this is hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of hours for 14 people each.
Yeah.
So the city is there for us. Parks and Rec is amazing. I can't thank John Hedrick enough.
Okay.
He does, and he's taught me so much. I followed him around for a year, and after that, I was kind of on my own doing this, and it worked out fine. But the electric department sets up all the wiring.
It's a community effort. Yeah.
It is totally a community effort. So they get just nothing but hugs from me.
Okay.
CNS also is a major sponsor, so they've been wonderful to us.
CNS has done such a marvelous job. Many nonprofits.
They have been so involved in the community. It's really wonderful.
It is a great organization.
And because I'm afraid of forgetting anybody, I would love people to look on our site. We've got all the sponsors listed up there.
Now let's give that site one more time.
SecretCityFestival.com.
That's pretty easy to remember. SecretCityFestival.com.
And we've got a Facebook page, and there's always recommendations on there of other things to do also when, on a weekend.
24th and the 25th. So
24th and 25th.
So people need to just get that on their calendars and get ready to go. The big news is nothing's going to be cut back. There's going to be a tremendous amount of things to do and everything of that nature, so we need to stay with that. Who else?
Well, I would like to put the word out that we are very happy to have more sponsors.
Okay.
Really. You cannot run a festival like this without businesses in the community helping out. We sit on the phones all the time, calling everybody, asking for help. We are more than happy to provide good advertising for you. Please be interested, be part of this community. This is a big deal for this town. And I think that it's very important that if you can participate, it's great, and we're happy to give you publicity saying thank you.
Who are some of those sponsors? Do you have a high-level sponsor of the people?
I gave you CNS in the city. They're our two largest. Rogers Group is one.
Rogers Group.
And I wish you had asked me, because I would have given you a list. It's on the website, and I don't want to slight anybody.
Tell me a little bit about. I want to talk a little bit about the free medical clinic.
Sure.
I mean, you're active. You know what it is.
That's one that I stopped working on for the last couple of years just because I ran out of time.
Right.
But they do a wonderful, fun party in August. I don't remember the dates. Do you know it?
No,
wait a minute.
I'm in the
You're
same
supposed
club.
to know this.
I know, but it's a dinner at St. Mary's they have every year at St.
It
Mary's.
is the most fun party all year long, and partly because when I was on the committee, we sort of decided that, well, if you want to get dressed up, that's fine, but nobody really cares. Just come. And people would come in shorts, some people would wear long dresses, some people were dressed up, some weren't. The food was always fabulous.
Yes.
Best food at any of these events I've ever been to. And I believe that it was always Morrison's that did the catering and did a bang-up job. It was always gorgeous and always thematic. It was a lot of fun to work on, so I would highly recommend it.
And there's an auction associated with that too. Yes, they always do. And is there any more important nonprofit?
No, I think that they do an amazing job.
And medicine gets more expensive every year?
It does. It does. I'm really glad they're here. I think they contribute an unbelievable presence in the community.
Mayor Warren Gooch has worked hard for them and has been an advocate for them.
And I think everybody has. I think that it's such a positive force.
Yeah. I mean, it's a way to
yeah.
And there's a lot of volunteer doctors and nurses and people who help, are there not?
There are.
Yeah, that's incredible.
I think that most of the office staff is volunteer. Probably some of the nurses and get paid for it, or
and they
nurse
keep
practitioners,
simple, inexpensive environments, or in an old building behind Zagsby's down there, right next behind the tobacco store. Just really, I mean, you know, they're not extravagant. They spend the money on things they need to spend the money on, and help, medicines and different things.
Yeah, I think they're wonderful.
And they do a great job.
They do.
Secret City Festival started out in 1991, I think it was.
1982.
Was it that long ago?
It was. It started in 1982.
It's the Plaza event or something. I can remember it.
It was what?
Called the Plaza.
That was
before the Secret
Party
City.
on the Plaza, but that was, I think, the incarnation in maybe the 90s.
Yes.
Before that, I remember taking my daughter at age 3 or 4, and it was Mayfest and then the Azalea Festival. And we've had really interesting acts. I was told today that we were talking about the diversity of the festival and wanting to honor the 85 who integrated the schools, and how, you know, with Black Lives Matter being so important this year, we got to talking about the diversity of the acts that have performed. And it just so happens that our lineup is quite diverse. But previously, I didn't know that Chubby Checker had been here, and Mary Wilson from the Supremes and the Four Tops, Janine Fuller.
Let's talk about a Queens native. Let's talk about a Queens native. Why can't we get Tony Bennett here?
I don't know, but I sure would love it. That would be
I've
fun.
seen him 3 or 4
Do you
times.
think Lady Gaga would come with him?
Is she from Queens?
I'm not sure,
No,
but
she's saying
I know that they're friends.
They are friends. Everybody's friends with Tony. I mean, people don't realize Tony's history. Tony was a major force in the civil rights movement in the 60s.
Yes.
He through funding and participation, close friends with Dr. King, and but Tony's always been active in social justice causes his whole career, and he's still taking, what is he, 90? I mean, but
easily,
another Queens kid.
I think, yeah. So I didn't know he was from Queens.
Yeah, Tony Bennett's from Queens.
That's neat.
And I think that probably the diversity of the acts that have been there. We've had 38 Special.
We have.
We've had rock and roll people.
We have Ray Smith's favorite Oak Ridge Boys. He's always talking about them.
Ray likes the Oak Ridge Boys.
Yes, he does.
I knew them, and I lived in Nashville for a couple of years among those years of travel, and I was in some small gatherings with them.
Yeah.
Interesting guys, totally.
It would be fun, and we haven't done it. I'd like to see a list of all the performers who have been here.
Yeah. And I think it's worth the investment. My opinion has always been, you get a headliner, you get people here. They'll walk through everything early before they go to the concert.
Right.
It can be a loss later. I think it's worth putting the money into the groups.
Well, you still have to have the money to put it in.
That's correct. And that's where the sponsors come in, and everybody else in the city subsidy.
Well, I'll tell you, we're very excited. Jimmy Allen has been so wonderful. We had signed him on for last year.
Right.
And then when COVID hit, obviously nothing happened. And he was wonderful. He honored his contract and has been just so incredibly gracious. So I'm really looking forward to meeting him and saying thank you. Because, you know, sometimes performers have funny reputations, but I hear nothing but great things about this guy.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it.
Well, we've had a lot of great acts come through here, not just in Secret City Festival, but different. I can remember one time we were trying to get interest up around the festival or something. We had the Temptations in the gym one night, and the Four Tops. And people.
Seriously?
Yeah, I can't remember how long ago, probably 30 years ago. They brought them in on a special ticket. So
I want to know
we've
where
tried
I
to-
was.
Tried to, I don't know, you were here.
I
You
know.
got here in 73,
Yeah.
you were here. So we did a lot. Well, I think it's going to be a great festival.
I think so, too.
I like
I'm
the
very
time of the year a
excited.
lot more. I like it a lot more.
Well, this also has given us an opportunity to see how does this work in the fall.
Yeah.
Maybe this is something that we want to
But
stick
you got
with.
better chance of tourism. You got leaves changing, you fall,
Right.
Smoky Mountains. They could be there for the Smokies. They go to Dollywood and come down for a day.
Yeah.
You got a lot of chances to expand it and do different things. Here's the question. Does UT have a home football game that weekend? Surely.
They do, but I think it's an away game.
That's what I meant. I
Yeah.
said home game, yeah.
No, it's an away
game's
game.
fine. Yeah, you
Yeah.
got to be careful.
So I understand. I
Oh,
checked
it'll shut
first.
everything down in a hurry.
Right.
I mean, that's it. You don't.
Yeah, so
you don't
I
do
found out.
Yeah. Well, we're in our last minute, but it's been delightful.
Thank you.
I can't believe you've been here since 73 and I've never met you.
I was
so
thinking the same thing. How come
Yes.
we've not stumbled on each other?
That's it. Well, that's okay.
I know.
My loss. I'm good. Hey, thank you so much for tuning in. I can't think of anybody you want to say anything else to before we
No,
go?
thank you. Come, have fun. It's free. It's free. It's free. It's free. Bring your children. Bring your grandchildren.
Okay. Thank you, Ryan Spitzer. Thank you, Judge Roger Miller. Thank you, all of our sponsors. We appreciate you.